The Forsaken Heir. Previous episodes are available on playlist, a link is given in the video description. Episode 11. Mrs. Wilson was struck by lightning at this time. How did that happen? Only Charlie could have such a big energy. Even the White family broke with their Wilson family. At the thought of this, her heart throbbed with pain. She wanted to beg Salmon not to abandon the Wilson family at this time, but the other party didn't pay attention to her at all. After saying that they were about to divorce, they swaggered to take Gerald and left. Wendy broke down and cried. She accompanied Gerald for several years, and gave everything to the other party, even they were pregnant with child, and now, everything has disappeared. Therefore, she has an unforgettable hatred towards Grandma in her heart. Her father, Noah, was also very depressed. He followed the Lady Wilson and ditched his younger brother's family, but he didn't seem to get any benefits. More importantly, the son was injured and arrested, and the daughter was abandoned by the fiancé's family. This really gave him an irreparable loss. He complained to the old Mrs. Wilson, "Mom, I usually listen to you in everything, but at this point, my family has lost too much." At this time, the old Mrs. Wilson tried to stabilize their emotions, and said, "Don't panic. Why anxious? Harold just spends money to redeem the people. As for Wendy's marriage, what are we afraid of? Good women don't have to worry about marrying. Our Wendy is beautiful, and I don't know how many rich sons will line up to pursue her tomorrow." After speaking, the Lady Wilson said again, "Don't forget, we still have the Emgrand Group's contract in hand. This is our Wilson family's turnaround battle. If we win this battle, our Wilson family will still need to rely on in the future. As the kings, do we still need to depend on the rich? We are the rich ourselves." Noah hurriedly asked, "Mom, the Emgrand Group's project was previously in hands of Claire's dead girl. Now she has been kicked out of the Wilson Group. This project, as well as the position of director, should be replaced." "Change? Of course you want to change." The Lady Wilson blurted out immediately, "Don't worry, I will give this position to Harold. When Harold comes out, he will be the director of the Wilson Group and is fully responsible for the cooperation between the Wilson Group and the Emgrand Group." Noah Wilson gratefully rejoiced, and the whole person finally got some comfort. The loss is so great that if the Lady Wilson doesn't make up for herself a little, it is really impossible. Since this project is given to her son, then her son will still have a chance to stand up in the future. At this time, Mrs. Wilson exhorted, there must be no gaps in the cooperation of the Emgrand Group. When the time comes, Harold will give me an all-out connection. We must take down this project beautifully, even from the Emgrand Group. Get more projects in your hands." Noah Wilson said immediately, "Mom, don't worry, I will let Harold go all out." While talking, someone knocked on the door. Immediately afterwards, a man in a suit walked into the courtyard of the Wilson family mansion. "Excuse me, "Is Mrs. Wilson at home?" Old Mrs. Wilson greeted her and asked, "I am, who are you?" The other party said, "Hello, I am the chief lawyer of Emgrand Group." When she heard that it was a member of the Emgrand Group, Mrs. Wilson hurriedly said enthusiastically, "Oh, oh." It turned out to be a barrister of the Emgrand Group. "Come in. Come in." "No," the other party said coldly, "I'm here to give you a lawyer's letter in person." "Lawyer's letter?" Mrs. Wilson asked in surprise, "What lawyer's letter?" The other party said, "The lawyer's letter for the termination of the contract. Our Emgrand Group has decided to terminate all cooperation with the Wilson family after negotiation, and will never have any form of cooperation with the Wilson family in the future. Please receive the lawyer's letter within 3 days. Go to the Emgrand Group to complete the agreement procedures." What? For the Lady Wilson and Noah, this was a bolt from the blue. Just now, they said that the Emgrand Group was the Wilson family's turn to rely on. Now the Emgrand Group has come to terminate the contract? And never cooperate with the Wilson family? This is to block the Wilson family. The Lady Wilson tremblingly asked, "Lawyer, what is going on? Why is this? Isn't our cooperation good?" The lawyer said coldly, "Our cooperation with Ms. Clare is very good, but I heard that Ms. Clare has left your Wilson Group. I am embarrassed. We don't want to cooperate with you people anymore." Only then did the old Mrs. Wilson understood that it was Clare. She was suddenly angry. "Why? Why do you have to revolve around that unbelievable granddaughter? She is a rubbish. She herself married a rubbish. The Wilson family is old Mrs. Wilson has the final say. You should give me face." "Why give her face? Why only look at her face?" Old Mrs. Wilson was a little angry, and she blurted out, "Your Emgrand Group can be considered a big company with a good reputation. Just so casually unilaterally terminate the contract with us, aren't you afraid that we will go to the court to sue you? Are you not afraid of this incident? After going out, will it affect the reputation of your Emgrand Group?" The lawyer smiled indifferently and said, "Mrs. Wilson, have you not seen the contract before? For all the external cooperation of our Emgrand Group, we have the right to unilaterally stop the cooperation. This is the privilege of Party A. Haven't you heard of it? Yes, does the engineering work, is Party A the father?" After that, the lawyer said again, "Even if the whole Oris Hill, and even the whole country, know that we are uncooperative with you? We are reasonable and legal. And, it was not me that scared you, Mrs. Wilson. Our Emgrand Group is very famous in the country. Big, the company we blocked. Other companies generally dare not cooperate, so, for your Wilson Group, please ask for more luck in the future." You, Mrs. Wilson was indeed shocked by these words. "Blocked by Emgrand Group? How will you mess up from now on? Isn't the future of the Wilson Group going to end? If no one is willing to cooperate with an engineering company, it will have only one end. bankruptcy. Do not. No way. The Lady Wilson is already hysterical at this time. The Wilson Group is mine. The Wilson Group should become a leader and make me an object of respect for everyone. Let me enjoy the endless glory and wealth. It cannot go bankrupt. It must not go bankrupt. Thinking of this, the Lady Wilson burst into tears, and begged, "Lawyer, I beg you for the sake of my age. Tell you Doris, Doris, I beg for mercy, everything in the Wilson Group is on the line. The cooperation with your company is on. At this time, your company can't abandon us." The lawyer sneered, "I'm sorry, Lady Wilson, the decision not to cooperate with you and block you was made by our CEO. Our CEO also said that you are disrespectful and shameless old things like you are not worthy of cooperation with us." After speaking, he dropped the cancellation letter, turned and left. Old Mrs. Wilson was very angry, spit out a big mouthful of blood, and fell to the ground unconscious. The news that the Emgrand Group banned the Wilson Group soon came out. Just when the whole Oris Hill knew that the Wilson family was finished, it came out that the old Mrs. Wilson was in a hurry and was hospitalized. After Charlie's father-in-law Jacob heard the news, there was surprisingly no disturbance. He said to his daughter and son-in-law, "With my mother's personality and the need to control the psychology of others throughout her life, it will be a matter of time to lose. There is nothing to be sympathetic to. Let her reflect on it in the hospital. Maybe she can figure out her life. What is wrong with it?" Charlie felt that Jacob had been confused, and it was rare to see the essence of things this time. When the family breathed a sigh of relief, his wife, Claire, began to work on the job search quietly. In the evening, when Charlie had just finished cooking, he suddenly heard the sound of opening the door behind him. He turned around and saw Jacob coming in from the door with a smile on his face, his footsteps vigorous. Charlie looked at Jacob's happy look, and couldn't help asking, "Dad, you went for a walk around, what good things have happened?" "Ha ha ha, I'm really lucky today," Jacob said with joy. "After I took the pills you gave, not only the pain in my body disappeared, but the spirit also improved. It is a panacea." "No, I just went to the antique street to stroll around. Guess who I met?" "Who?" Charlie felt a little bit in his heart. Could it be that Jacob was coaxed around by the counterfeit dealers and killed him as a fat sheep once again? He quickly looked up and down at Jacob, and breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he held nothing with his hands empty. Jacob took a sip of tea and said mysteriously, "Sir, do you remember the last time we met Irvin Jones, who was a scammer in Antique Street, right? Remember, what happened?" "Haha, I met this kid as soon as I went today." Charlie was shocked. "Dad, you won't buy his goods again, will you?" "No." Jacob waved his hand and said happily, "This Irvin Jones, now that he know that I am your old master, he dare not be clever at all. Not only did he give me a piece of ancient jade pendant, he also helped me sell the pills up." Charlie frowned, and the ancient jade pendant Irvin Jones gave to Jacob was probably a fake, but it was strange that he actually helped Jacob sell medicine. "What pill?" "It's the medicine you made for me to treat traumatic injuries. It's called the heart relief pill." Jacob slapped his thigh and said excitedly, "My injuries are all healed." Irvin Jones heard that this pill is so effective. He said he had a way to sell the pills for me, so I gave him 2 pills, but I didn't expect them to be sold. Charlie was dumbfounded. Pills are not a rare thing, and the old master can only throw them away if he can't finish eating them, but this Irvin Jones can really take advantage of the loopholes, and he can even sell the leftover medicine. "Dad, this medicine is not right, how can you sell it?" Jacob said, "I don't know about that. Anyway, Irvin Jones helped me sell the medicine. Guess how much it sold?" "Over 1,000. Your point is not even a fraction." Jacob triumphed and slapped, "It's 500,000. Puff. Charlie was drinking water, and the water in his mouth spurted out suddenly. He couldn't believe it. The pill that cost less than 100 were sold for 500,000 by Irvin Jones, a profiteer? Who is the hapless person who has a lot of money and is fooled by this profiteer? Charlie couldn't help asking, which wrongdoer did this profiteer sell the medicine to? "I don't know." Irvin Jones said that he has professional ethics and must keep his clients secret. After Jacob finished speaking, he shook his head and sighed, "The 500,000, he hit my card with a lot of money, saying that he was filial to you. I will give him a bit of hard work. He doesn't want it. These 2 hairs do business. His talent, when he stops making fakes, I advise him to do a decent job and go to work." Charlie shook his head. "People like Irvin Jones can't change. He has been kidnapped since he was a child, and it has become commonplace. If he really wants to go to work for a day, I am afraid this is like killing him. It is impossible for him to go to work, he will never go to work in his life. However, since the pills are sold at a high price by the old master, they can be used as subsidies for the family. Anyway, the Wilson family recently left the Wilson Company, and Claire might have to be unemployed at home for a while, and the old master's dividends from the Wilson Company might not be available, so it was just the money to make the transition." After earning 500,000 in vain, Jacob's originally depressed mood was swept away, and he walked all the way into the bedroom humming the Red Lantern of Peking opera, finally showing a smile on his face. Charlie went back to the bedroom and told Claire about it. Claire almost jumped out of bed and asked nervously, "Others spend a lot of money to buy pills, but money matters. If something goes wrong with eating that thing, can we get away with it?" "Don't worry," Charlie said with a smile, "this blood relief pill is only for removing blood stasis and invigorating blood. The materials are not valuable. They can't be eaten as a meal, and they will have nosebleeds for 2 days at most. The blame is to buy medicine customers. People are stupid and have a lot of money." Claire was still worried. Then you say, who on earth is willing to spend $500,000 to buy these 2 pills? Charlie said casually, it may be someone who has a cerebral obstruction or a cardiovascular and cerebrovascular disease. This pill is also very effective for these diseases. Hearing what he said, Claire's hanging mental complexity was relieved a lot. These types of diseases are serious medical illnesses, and it would cost no less than $500,000 to go to the hospital for treatment. I hope the medicine will work and don't make people spend so much money in vain. After eating, Charlie received a call from Orville when he was washing the dishes. Although Orville is known as the underground king of Oris Hill, he has been low-key and depressed since he met Charlie. Although Charlie didn't look down on him, he had to say that Orville was quite sensible. Last time Darren was bullied, and in the hospital ward, he also helped him solve a little problem. So at that time, Charlie had promised that he would give him a chance to rise to the top, but he did not expect that he would take the initiative to call himself. After answering the phone, Charlie asked him, "Mr. Orville, are you looking for me?" Orville hurriedly laughed and said, "Oh, Mr. Charlie. I called you this time because I heard about your order to the Oris Hill Metaphysical Circle. I would like to congratulate you." Charlie said coldly, "Don't talk to me here, just tell me if you have anything, don't grind." Orville hurriedly said, "Oh, Mr. Charlie, you know everything like a god, and you will see through it when I think about it carefully." Charlie asked coldly, "Still talking nonsense?" Orville hurriedly said, "That's how Mr. Charlie, the Song family has treated me well for many years. Their eldest lady has had some trouble recently. I would like to ask you to come over and take a look." Charlie said, "Miss of Song family? Warnya?" "Yes," said Orville, "Miss Warnya is in trouble. The Song family to which Warnya belongs is the top family in Oris Hill. However, the Song family was still 1,000 miles away from the East Cliffs Wade family. But Warnya still doesn't know Charlie's true identity, so Charlie in her eyes is just a young man who has some research on antiques and then dabbled in metaphysics. The last time Charlie slammed thunder to death in Oris Hill, it really scared many people and was regarded as a master of metaphysics by many people. However, Charlie deliberately gave Warnya an indication that it was just a coincidence. After all, how could ordinary people order the sky thunder? Finally, Warnya was also confused, thinking that Charlie might indeed have more luck. Since then, Warnya has disappeared from Charlie's world. Charlie thought she was missing, but he didn't expect to be in trouble. So, he asked Orville, "What's the matter? What is wrong with Miss Song?" Orville said, "Miss Song recently committed tai sui. Maybe something went wrong with feng shui luck, and she was totally unlucky." After that, Orville said again, "I found many feng shui masters everywhere, but they can't solve the problem. I would like to ask you to have a look, see if you can break the predicament of Missy." Charlie said calmly, "You can talk about what problems she has encountered first, so I might as well make a judgment. Orville hurriedly said, the lady was injured recently. She has had several small car accidents. Then she sprained her foot when going down the stairs, burned the back of her hand while drinking coffee, and was bitten by her own dog yesterday. One mouthful. Not only that, but several important cooperations of the Song family group also had big problems and had a great impact on the income. After that, Orville said again, the thing that saddens the eldest most is that she has somehow lost one of the most precious diamond necklaces she has worn for more than 10 years. It is the relic left by her mother before her death. The young lady cried for several days about this. Charlie chuckled twice, and said, it seems that Miss Song has really had a bad luck recently. Don't tell me. Orville looked at Charlie and said seriously, Mr. Charlie, you are a master of metaphysics. I believe you must have a solution for this matter. Charlie asked him back, Mr. Orville, why are you so caring about Miss Song? What is your relationship with the Song family? Mr. Orville hurriedly said, I tell you Mr. Charlie, Miss Song's grandfather is my benefactor. I was able to stand up in Oris Hill back then, it was all thanks to the support of Miss Song's grandfather. I originally wanted to repay him. I have always helped the Song family solve some inconvenient things for them to come forward. After that, Mr. Orville said again, to put it bluntly, I just want to repay the favor. The Song family is my benefactor. N. Charlie nodded and said, you are also sincere, and Miss Song and I have some friendship, so come and pick me from my house tomorrow. Let's go and take a look. Okay. Orville said excitedly, thank you Mr. Charlie. I am grateful. Early the next morning, Orville called Charlie. When Charlie went downstairs, Orville was sitting in the car and beckoned to him, saying, Mr. Charlie, get in the car. Charlie nodded and walked quickly to get into the car. Orville hurriedly started the car and drove towards the outskirts of the city. On the way, Orville said anxiously, I heard that a Feng Shui master from Hong Kong is coming soon, Mr. Charlie, you can't let him steal your limelight. As he said, he added, Miss Song is the eldest daughter of the Song family and will soon take over the entire family affairs. If we can do this beautifully, you and I will benefit infinitely. Charlie smiled and said, Mr. Orville, you are not kind. You said yesterday that it was to repay your kindness, but now you show the foxtail, so you want to treat Miss Song for this. Mr. Orville said embarrassingly, repaying one's kindness is one aspect, and getting closer to one another is also one aspect. I know that Mr. Charlie has great powers, but to be honest, it is not a bad thing to be able to get closer to Miss Song. Miss Song is young and attractive, beautiful and with strong family background. If you become friends and join forces in the future, it will be a good thing for you, don't you think? Charlie smiled slightly and said lightly, if the Feng Shui master from Hong Kong is really good, then I can't help it. Orville sighed and said, let's go and take a look first. You are a master of metaphysics with real abilities. Then you can see if you can find a suitable opportunity. Let's just grab the business from that Hong Kong man." Charlie didn't say a word. He was also considering this issue in his heart. If Mr. Lai from Hong Kong is really a descendant of the Lai family, he probably has a few brushes. He might as well take a look at what Lai's family does, and perhaps what enlightenment it might have for his next comprehension of the 9 profound heavenly secrets. Miss Song's villa is in the most luxurious villa area in the suburbs. Orville drove Charlie all the way and stopped in front of a super luxurious villa. At this time, a man with the appearance of a housekeeper came out. Orville hurriedly stuck his head out and said, "Boyu, is the eldest lady at home?" The housekeeper nodded indifferently, and said, "Mr. Orville, what has brought you here?" Orville hurriedly said with a smile, "Boyu, I have invited a master to come over, and I want him to help the young lady. He is a real master of metaphysics." The butler glanced at Charlie, who was in the CO driver. He didn't take the young man seriously, and said coldly, "Mr. Orville, Mr. Lai from Hong Kong has already come and is showing the elder lady feng shui. It is inconvenient to bother him. If there is nothing wrong, you can go back." Orville quickly said, "Boyu, Mr. Charlie is here, why should not let Mr. Charlie have a try? Besides, Mr. Charlie and Missy have friendship." Uncle Boyu asked him, "Many people say that they have friendship with Missy, and I can hear the cocoon. Besides, can the person you invite have abilities as good as Mr. Lai from Hong Kong? Mr. Lai is the originator of Feng Shui, Lai Bai Ai. He spent a lot of effort and traveled all the way from Hong Kong, so follow along and join in the fun. Let's go." Charlie was a little surprised when he heard that, not at the identity of Mr. Lai, but at the big man who stomped off Oris Hill's entire road. As a result, there was even a housekeeper at Warnie's door. He can't figure it out. Not only can't figure it out, he even has to kneel and lick. Charlie couldn't help but slander, "This Orville, in front of Uncle Boyu, is really begging for nothing. If this matter spreads out, it will be despised by people in the whole city." Orville was despised by the butler, but he was not angry at all. On the contrary, the smile on his face accumulated more deeply. He respectfully said, "Look, Boyu, this lady's problem is so serious. It must be the same for us today. Want to share the worries for her? What if Mr. Lai doesn't care about Missy's problem? He is a Hong Kong master, and he may not be able to eat well when he arrives on our mainland." Boyu said coldly, "What can't be eaten? You really think you can find someone to be able to compare to Mr. Lai? Go away. If it interferes with Mr. Lai's formation, the lady will blame it. You can't afford it." Orville scratched his head anxiously. Unexpectedly, Boyu wouldn't even let them in the door. How could Charlie show the elder lady feng shui? So he blurted out, "Boyu, have you heard about the fate of that man in Oris Hill? He was also a master in Hong Kong, that smashing, arrogant, and what was the result? He came to Oris Hill and pretended to be something in front of Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie brought thunder, click it, and hacked him to death. After listening to it, Boyle was dumbfounded. The look in Charlie's eyes was also a little more in awe. He had heard about Jinghai. However, he didn't know exactly who killed him in the Oris Hill. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be the young man in front of him. In an instant, he had a sense of respect for Charlie. So, he arched his hand at Charlie and said, "Mr. Charlie is so capable, I have also heard about it, and I admire it." After speaking, he hesitated for a moment, and said, "If this is the case, then please come in and have a look, but Mr. Charlie, you must come first and wait. Since Mr. Lai from Hong Kong is here first, please don't bother him too much before he finishes the feng shui. Let's wait until Mr. Lai finishes reading it. If Mr. Lai solves Missy's problem, please don't interfere." Charlie nodded, and said indifferently, "No problem." Boyle used the remote control to open the door and said to Orville, "Get the car in." Orville hurriedly drove into the villa and said with a look of exclamation, "Mr. Charlie, you were really awesome just now, except for the Song family, they rarely give outsiders such a face." Charlie said indifferently, "Look at your unpromising appearance. The housekeeper of the Song family has to kneel and lick the flattery. I really don't know how you got into the position of Big Brother on Oris Hill Road." Orville said with a stern smile, "Mr. Charlie, you don't know anything. No matter how good we are, isn't it still a little girl who can't get on the table? In front of a large family like the Song family, that is, the material for brother." After that, he parked the car and said to Charlie, "Mr. Charlie, let's go to meet Mr. Lai for a while." Boyle led the two into the villa, which was decorated extremely luxuriously, almost like the royal family. When they arrived on the second floor, Boyle directly led them to a room where the door was opened and knocked gently. Then he took them straight in. In the room, a lean middle-aged man in a blue shirt was holding a compass and was looking around, muttering words. Warnia stood with her back to the door and heard three people coming in. She turned around and asked, "Boyu, what's up?" Boyu hurriedly said, "Miss, Orville brought Mr. Charlie over, saying that he wanted to help you take a look at Feng Shui." Warnia turned around and saw Charlie, suddenly surprised. "Charlie, why are you here?" As soon as Charlie saw Warnia, he found that she was a lot more haggard than he had seen a few days ago, and according to the records in the 9 profound heavenly scriptures, her hall was darkened and her fortune was out of luck. It seemed that something really went wrong. Charlie smiled slightly and said, "Mr. Orville said that you are in trouble, so he took me over to see you." At this time, the middle-aged man holding the compass spoke in Hong Kong accent, and said, "Miss Song, ordinary people shouldn't interfere. Otherwise, it will affect the operation of the Feng Shui array." Warnia knew that Charlie knew something about metaphysics, but Feng Shui fortune was somewhat different from metaphysics. She felt that Charlie's metaphysics was suitable for fighting strong, but Feng Shui was a discipline related to a different realm. Metaphysics is not a number of ways, so in no way Charlie can be compared to Mr. Lai. So, she said a little apologetically, "I'm sorry Charlie, Mr. Lai is helping me do this. Please sit downstairs for a while, and I will come over to entertain you later, sorry." Charlie said, "Miss Song, one more person has one more way. I do see that you have some problems. As a friend, I hope to help you solve the trouble, but you can let the Mr. Lai make a formation first. If he can solve it, then everyone is happy. If he can't solve it, I will try." At this moment, the middle-aged man holding the compass gave a cold snort, and said, "I am a Lai Bai's 22nd generation successor. How can I be hard to beat by such a trivial matter? I think you are young, dare to call yourself a Feng Shui master, I am afraid you are a liar." Charlie smiled slightly, seeing a black and red air lingering in the hall of Mr. Lai, with a bloody smell. He said lightly, "Mr. Lai, since you are a Feng Shui master, why didn't you look at yourself today? Isn't there a disaster of blood and light?" Mr. Lai laughed and said, "Say I have a bloody disaster? Boy, you are crazy." Charlie shrugged his shoulders and said, "I'm telling the truth. The blackness of your yintang remains, your eyes are white and swollen, and your pupils are red and open. This is a sign of your fortune. If you don't pay attention to the remedy, I am afraid the disaster of blood and light cannot be stopped." Mr. Lai sneered, "Boy, I'm a descendant of the Lai family from Hong Kong, so don't behave in front of me." Charlie curled his lips, "I'm a big talker? You master from Hong Kong, I don't think you are the only one. To be honest, they are all pretty watery." Mr. Lai immediately cursed, "You ba! Talk about our Hong Kong master water? You're a shit." Charlie smiled and said, "Have you heard of someone named Jing Hai? Do you know his fate?" "I don't know anything about Jing Hai." Mr. Lai snorted coldly, looked at the Song family eldest, and said, "Miss, wait for me to do it right away, to help you reverse your fortune, and let this unobstructed kid have insights. My Hong Kong Lai family's true Feng Shui mastery cannot be challenged." Warnya nodded slightly, glanced at Charlie, and said to Mr. Lai, "Mr. Please do it as soon as possible." Mr. Lai immediately took out a few pieces of talisman paper, gestured to the void for a while, and shouted with words in his mouth, "All those who are facing the battle are arrayed in front of them, and they are as fast as the law." After that, he threw the pieces of talisman paper into the air, observing the direction and speed of the talisman paper scattered, then pointed to a pot of green plants in front of the window and said, "Miss, the problem is found. This window opens to the east. It is the direction of the purple gas coming from the east, your fortune should flow in from the east, and this pot of green plants just blocked the eye and blocked your fortune." When Warnya heard that Mr. Lai had found the key to the problem, she immediately asked with excitement, Mr. Lai, will my fortune be better by removing the green plants? Neither. Mr. Lai said with a serious face, the Feng Shui formation is an invisible formation. Even if you remove the green plants, you can't remove its influence on the Feng Shui pattern. Warnya hurriedly asked, what should I do? Mr. Lai said, you should place the exorcism transporter refined by masters in the place of the green plants. Only in this way can you completely eradicate your troubles, keep your fortune open, and the purple gas coming from the east. Warnya asked, then what is the thing that drives away evil spirits? Mr. Lai immediately took out an egg-sized stone from his pocket and said earnestly, Miss, this is Taishan chalcedony. It is the essence of the entire Taishan stone that has been eroded and weathered for tens of millions of years. It is a magical product for exorcising evil and transporting. If you place this piece of Taishan chalcedony in the place of a green plant, all the evil aura will immediately dissipate. When the purple qi comes from the east, it will definitely go back. Warnya asked with joy, Mr. Lai, how much does this Taishan chalcedony cost? I will buy it. Upon hearing this, Mr. Lai's eyes flashed with excitement. Immediately, he said with a serious face, Miss Taishan, if this piece of Taishan chalcedony is placed in Hong Kong, it will be worth at least 15 million, but I also have a relationship with the young lady. I will sell you this piece of Taishan chalcedony for only 10 million. Warnya nodded and said, money is not a problem, as long as it can really help me solve the trouble. Mr. Lai said without hesitation, Miss, don't worry, if you put Taishan chalcedony up now, your fortune will be completely changed tomorrow. Warnya breathed a sigh of relief immediately. She did not hesitate to bring the checkbook, and with a tender wave of her hand, she wrote a cash check for 10 million and handed it to Mr. Lai. Mr. Lai, give that Taishan stone to me. Please make your formation. Warnya now only wants to solve the current trouble as soon as possible. Recently, she has been tortured crazy by her own bad luck. Just last month, just after her 24th birthday, she began to be unlucky. First, there were various car accidents, and all 5 cars were damaged to varying degrees. Not long after, she sprained her ankle again, and she is still in pain. A few days ago, the relic left by her mother, and also her most cherished jewelry, was lost by her. That jewelry has been with her for more than 10 years, and it is almost her half-life. She offered a reward of several million, but there has been no news. For this reason, she did not know how many times she cried quietly at night. Yesterday, the Hong Kong Lee family, which the Song family was actively cooperating with, added a lot of blockage to the Song family. The two originally negotiated cooperation and were about to sign a contract, but the Lee family in Hong Kong suddenly introduced a partner. Not only did they stop signing the contract with the Song family, but also revealed from all aspects that they wanted to cooperate with another partner. For Warnya, this is tantamount to that the duck that brought its food to mouth but was suddenly taken away by someone else. The loss this brought to the Song family was extremely huge, far more than she could bear. All kinds of unlucky things continued, and Warnya had long been unable to bear it. At this moment, she just wanted to get in touch with this sad life, so as not to suffer more losses. Therefore, it is very cost-effective for her to spend 10 million to solve the feng shui problem. Mr. Lai got a check of 10 million, and his hands tremble a little with excitement. He hid the check in his body, and immediately took the Taishan Chalcedony to the windowsill, took down the pot of green plants, placed the stone on it, and kept chanting Taoist mantras. Charlie looked at all this and sneered secretly. This Mr. Lai not only doesn't understand, but also unknowingly self-defeated and caused a catastrophe. In fact, he had already seen the weirdness of this house through the feng shui mystery in the 9 profound heaven scriptures. He could clearly feel that in this room, a very terrifying formation of trapped dragons in the mystery of feng shui was basically formed. The so-called trapped dragon formation, as the name implies, in this formation, even if it is a dragon, it will be trapped, let alone the fortune of ordinary people. Therefore, no matter how strong the fortune is, those who live in the trapped dragon will inevitably lose their fortune and continue to have bad luck. The eldest lady lives in such a room, her own fortune is all trapped, and once a person's fortune is trapped, naturally one after another will be unlucky. Fortunately, this trapped dragon formation has only begun to take shape and has not yet been perfected. If it is really allowed to continue to improve, not only human fortune, but also human fate can be trapped in it. Then it won't be bad luck, it is very likely that you will lose your life. Coincidentally, the only loophole left by this trapped dragon formation is that pot of green plants. Green plants are wood, representing life and vitality. With it, it is tantamount to opening the only remaining life for this array. There is a student who can barely fight against the gathering of the trapped dragons, keeping the last bit of luck for the young lady. However, Mr. Lai accidentally picked this place and put his broken stone here. You know, stone is hard. Represents unbreakably. Once this stone replaces the green plants, the dragon formation is almost complete. At this time, Mr. Lai finished chanting the mantra and took a deep breath, saying, "Miss Lai, someone Lai has finished the formation, you can rest assured." Warnya hurriedly asked, "Then my future fortune can be restored? Wouldn't it be so bad?" "Yes." Mr. Lai nodded and said, "I rely on someone for his feng shui technique, which is famous in Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Macau. Even Hong Kong tycoon Li Ka-shing and Macau gambling king Stanley Hao are also the feng shui clients of mine." "Miss, don't worry." Warnya hurriedly asked, "Mr. Lai, I wonder if you can wish me to find the bracelet my mother left me? If possible, I would pay another 10 million. Mr. Lai scratched his head. "This eldest lady, I am good at feng shui mystery. Finding things is not my area of expertise." Warnya nodded disappointedly. "It's okay, you reversed the current bad luck, I am very grateful to you, Mr. Lai. As soon as she finished speaking, her cell phone rang. On the phone, a woman said hurriedly, Mr. Song, it's not good, something has happened. Warnya hurriedly asked, what's the matter? The other party said, the shipment we exported to the United States was just unloaded in the United States. As a result, the other company said that our product was not up to standard and we had to return it in accordance with the contract and claim triple compensation. Warnya suddenly glared, and blurted out in a panic, the 5,000 tons of goods will be returned? This time, I have lost tens of millions of transportation fees and customs declaration fees, plus triple the compensation. Several hundred million. Warnya couldn't understand why Mr. Lai just changed her fortune, and then there was such a big problem. At the moment on the phone, he said, there is no way, miss. Now the other party strongly demands triple compensation, we are very passive. Warnya hurriedly asked, could it be a mistake? Did you ask them to test it again? The other party said, I have already told them, but they said that after monitoring twice, the goods still failed the test. Warnya blurted out, check the source immediately to see our export records. When was this batch of goods produced and who was responsible? Find out and tell me clearly. After that, she said again, in the US, you can drag as long as you can, and then send a few people over to check it out. Okay, ma'am. After hanging up the phone, Warnya's expression was cloudy. She looked at Mr. Lai and asked, Mr. Lai, I have encountered another particularly difficult thing. If it can't be solved, the loss may exceed 500 million. Haven't you reversed the fortune? Mr. Lai dodged Warnya's eyes, and said falteringly, stopping adversity also takes time, and it cannot be done overnight. Warnya replied, then it will improve slowly, and there shouldn't be new bad luck suddenly. At this time, Warnya called again, and it turned out to be the eldest son of the Hong Kong Lee family. She hurriedly connected the phone, smiled and said, hello, Gongza Lee. Miss Song. The other party said in a cold voice, we thought about it and felt that the Song family was not the best partner in our eyes, so we might unilaterally terminate the cooperation. Termination of cooperation. Warnya suddenly became anxious and blurted out, Mr. Lee, you should be able to see that we are obviously superior in all aspects compared to others. The cooperation between the Lee family and our Song family is the best and good choice. The other party chuckled and said, to be honest, a master next to my father is measuring feng shui for my father. He said that the aura of the Song family does not seem to match that of the Lee family. If we continue to cooperate with you, it may affect the fortune of the Lee family, so, I'm sorry Miss Song. After speaking, he hung up phone. This. Warnya originally wanted to take this opportunity to take the Song family to the next level, but she was completely disappointed when she did not expect it to be empty. Mr. Lai was already a little panicked at this time. He originally wanted to lie to her and leave as soon as possible. He didn't expect that after his own practice, Warnia suddenly became even more unlucky. He felt that in this place shouldn't stay here for long, so he hurriedly said, "Miss Song, the change of feng shui fortune requires a process, so you must calm down. I believe that by tomorrow, everything will disappear. I will leave now." After he finished speaking, he was about to walk outside. Warnia blurted out, "Wait a minute. Mr. Lai, this situation is obviously problematic. Why did I have two such big troubles immediately after you finished the formation? Give me an explanation for everything you say." Just after speaking, Warnia felt a sharp pain in her lower abdomen, which made her sigh, almost unable to stand firm. She barely stood firm by holding on to the TV on the wall, and the colic made her sweat. She wondered, what was wrong? When this has not yet come, how can it happen to her? She hasn't figured it out yet. There was another sharp pain in her lower abdomen. This pain made her legs soft and she could only hold the TV with her hands to keep standing. At this time, the bracket of the TV on the wall suddenly clicked, and the metal bracket broke. Seeing that the 60-inch big TV slammed into her feet in a daze, Charlie hurriedly stepped forward and took her hand, and violently pulled her into his arms. With a loud noise, the TV set fell off and hit the ground heavily. The casing and screen suddenly shattered, and a piece of shattered hard plastic was snapped out, wiping Warnie's slender white calf and flew by. Ah! Warnia felt a sharp pain in her calf, and when she lowered her head, it had already cut a 2 to 3 centimeters long opening, and blood poured out in an instant. Charlie hurriedly took out a tissue from his pocket, squatted down to help her cover the wound, and asked, "Miss, do you have disinfection products such as Iodophor at home?" Warnia was a little angry when Charlie touched her calf, just about to have an attack, but when she thought that Charlie had saved her just now, she suppressed the fire. She immediately looked at Lai Bai and asked with obvious anger, "Mr. Lai, if you don't give me a reasonable explanation today, don't go anywhere." When Orville saw this, he grabbed Master Wade Lai by the neck and asked coldly, "Say, what did you do to Our Lady?" Mr. Lai cried and said, "I didn't do anything. I just set up a battle to help her change her fortune." "You don't bluff me!" Orville scolded angrily, "You changed her fortune for the worse, right?" After that, Orville gritted his teeth and cursed, "Say, did you collect money from someone and deliberately harm our eldest lady?" Mr. Lai trembled in shock, and blurted out, "Big brother, I didn't. I was not instructed by anyone." Orville grinned and said, "If you don't tell the truth, then I will chop you up and feed to the dog." After that, he immediately said to Warnia, "Miss, hand over him to me, I will let him evaporate from the world." Warnia was also very annoyed, and said coldly, "Mr. Lai, if you don't give me an explanation, then I can only order the people to do things." Mr. Lai hurriedly knelt on the ground, crying and said, "Miss, I just lied to you for some money, I really didn't hurt you. Warnya asked with a cold face, what you did just now was all fooling me. Yes. Mr. Lai hurriedly took out the check and begged for mercy, I will refund you the money, please let me go. Warnya stared at him for a while, seeing that he didn't seem to be lying, she felt even more desperate. What happened? Is her fortune worse? Suddenly, she suffered heavy losses. If this continues, the family business will be ruined in her own hands. At this moment, Charlie, who had not spoken, suddenly said, Miss, in fact, Mr. Lai did not do nothing. Warnya looked at him and asked, what does this mean? Charlie said calmly, the layout of your room is matched with your own 5 elements to form a large array of trapped dragons on Feng Shui. The dragon array will lock all your fortune into the formation. The reason there is still a little leeway is because the pot of green plants has left a gate for the dragon array. After speaking, Charlie looked at the so-called Mr. Lai and smiled. Unfortunately, this guy replaced the green plant with a stone. The stone is gold. This time, the gate is sealed. It doesn't matter if you remove it now. Use it, so your fortune will be lost instantly, and it will only get worse and worse. Warnya was suddenly struck by lightning, and hurriedly put away the contempt for him before, bowed and clasped her fists and said pleadingly, Mr. Charlie, please help. Mr. Lai knew that he had caused a catastrophe when he heard this, and hurriedly said, Miss Song, I didn't mean it. Mr. Wade, please take that stone away quickly. Charlie shook his head, it's useless to take it away. The dragon array is closed. It's like throwing a stone into the water. Even if the stone is taken away, the water wave generated by the stone cannot be stopped. Warnya looked at Charlie dumbfounded, and she couldn't help but respect him a little bit, and asked, Mr. Wade, please help me solve this troubled dragon formation. No matter how much money I have to spend, I will not hesitate. When Orville heard that Charlie saw the doorway, he hurriedly said, Mr. Charlie, please help our eldest lady. Charlie nodded and said, Miss Song, the Feng Shui in your room was not originally a trapped dragon, but this year is your natal year. Your own lifestyle has changed during this life year. It doesn't fit in with the Feng Shui of this room, so it forms a big trapped dragon formation. After all, Charlie said again, I want to change the Feng Shui of your room now. It may cause damage to your room, and I hope you don't mind. Warnya said immediately, Mr. Please, even if you demolish this house, I have no objection. Charlie nodded and said to the housekeeper, Uncle Boyu, please find a crowbar. Boyu immediately said, I will get it now. After a while, Boyu came in with a metal crowbar and asked, Mr. Wade, is this all right? Give it to me. Charlie looked around carefully, then pinched his fingers to make the final decision, then took a few steps in the room, pointed to a piece of wooden floor under his feet, and said, Mr. Orville, please pry this floor open. Orville nodded, did not go to help immediately, but looked at Mr. Lai and punched him in the abdomen. With this punch down, Mr. Lai immediately spit out a mouthful of blood and wailed on the ground. Orville is a gangster like that, who has very practical experience. After this punch, Mr. Lai has no ability to sit up, let alone escape. After that, Orville took the crowbar from Boyu and raised the floor according to Charlie's instructions. The floor was pried open, exposing the concrete floor. Orville asked him, "Mr. Charlie, what should I do next?" Charlie said lightly, "The trapped dragon array must have a central axis, so I just deduced it. Below this should be the central axis of the trapped dragon array. The central axis of the trapped dragon array is driven by water, and the water flows through the eyes. It will produce the effect of locking the fortune, so if I am not wrong, there should be a water pipeline under this cement." "Really?" Orville asked in surprise. "Mr. Charlie, can your eyes see through?" Charlie said indifferently, "It's not a perspective, but a deduction through the 5 elements and knowledge. For example, if you see the lights on the roof turn on, you can guess that the roof must be buried in telecommunications." What Charlie said were all feng shui mysteries recorded in the 9 profound heaven scriptures. Most people don't understand feng shui formation at all, so they can't guess where there is water or fire. At this time, Charlie said again, "I think the cement on the water pipe should be very thin. You can see if you hit it hard with a crowbar a few times." "Good." Orville suddenly slammed the concrete floor hard, breaking a thin layer of concrete away in a few strokes. Everyone held their breath and watched, and as expected, they saw Orville smash a PVC water pipe as thick as a thumb from the cement. This kind of water pipe leads from the aisle to the bathroom, but there is only this one, that is, in a huge house, the water pipe can be anywhere. However, Charlie was able to directly point out the specific location of the water pipe, which was a bit shocking. "It's amazing." Not only Orville was stunned, but Warnya and Boyu were also dumbfounded. "It's amazing to be able to find out the water pipes hidden in the cement." Charlie said again, "Break open the water pipe and let the water spill out. Once the water comes out of the formation, it will break down the formation. Once the formation collapses, it will no longer exist." Warnya hurriedly said, "Mr. Orville, you must smash this water pipe." Orville nodded and smashed the floor several times before smashing the water pipe. A large swath of water mist spewed out in a flash, and Charlie, Warnya, and Boyu all hurriedly backed away to avoid it. When the water gushed out, Charlie discovered that the dragon formation had also been completely abolished because of the fatal damage. Afterwards, Charlie said to Boyu, "Turn off the water valve, the dragon formation has been broken." "This is broken." Everyone looked incredulous. Charlie said calmly, "It has been broken, and Miss Song's fortune has been suppressed for so many days, and she should soon flourish." Just after speaking, Warnie's phone rang. Mr. Song, the American side called and said that they made a mistake in the sample. It is not our problem. Our goods are all qualified. Great. Warnya really took it. As soon as this breaks the formation, it immediately revolves. As soon as she hung up the call, she immediately said to Charlie with a look of gratitude, "Mr. Charlie, you are such a god. Thank you so much." Charlie smiled slightly and said, "Miss Song, you are welcome. I have also been entrusted by Mr. Orville to come and help. All should be done." Hearing this, Orville was so moved that he almost cried. He didn't expect that Charlie could still remember to speak for him at this time. In this way, he would definitely be able to remember his work with Missy. He has always wanted to hug the eldest lady's thigh, but the eldest lady is more repulsive to people of his origin, so he has always been able to wander around the edge of the Song family's industry. With this credit, you will be able to enter the Song family's direct line of troops. Warnya looked at Mr. Orville and said, "You took interest in this matter, and I will remember it." Orville hurriedly said, "Miss, this is my business." Warnya nodded. In front of Orville, she was still the tall lady, but in front of Charlie, she was very respectful. At this time, Warnya's cell phone rang again. "It's Gongza Lee from Hong Kong Lee family." "Young Mr. Lee." Warnya was a little bit dissatisfied with the pigeons being released by Gongza Lee. Gongza Lee said on the phone, "Miss Song, I'm so sorry. Just a little misunderstanding. My father's feng shui master said, Miss Song, your fortune has changed suddenly, and now your wealth is soaring, and you are overwhelmed. I strongly recommend that we cooperate with your Song family. I sincerely hope that we can sign the contract as soon as possible. I want to fly to your city tomorrow. I wonder if I will be able to see you face to face." Gongza Li's attitude suddenly changed drastically, and Warnya was shocked, and her chin almost fell to the ground. Although she was a little angry at what Gongza Li had done before, she was about to shout out excitedly now. But she restrained it and said, "In this case, let's make an appointment at a time and place for the signing ceremony." Gongza Li said immediately, "The sooner the signing is, the better, so let me fly to Oris Hill tomorrow to meet you in person." Warnya hung up the phone, almost admiring Charlie from the 2 phone calls made by Gongza Li just now. She can just see the power of Charlie. The liar, Mr. Lai, destroyed the only student of the Dragon Array. Gongza Li immediately called and refused to cooperate. He also said that it was his father's feng shui master who saw that her luck was not good, and as soon as Charlie broke the formation, the opponent immediately called and said that her wealth was soaring. This was the best proof of Charlie's strength. When Warnya was amazed, she received another call from a stranger, and the other party asked, "Is it Miss Song?" "It's me, who are you?" The other party said, "Miss Song, I am the manager of the Hermes store. You tried clothes and accessories in our store last week. Do you remember?" Warnya said, "Well, remember, what's the matter?" The other party said, "That's right, we just found a string of diamond jewelry in the corner of the fitting room with your name engraved on it. I think you should have left it in the store, so I called to confirm it." Warnya suddenly trembled with excitement, and asked, "Where is the bracelet now? Is it with you?" "Yes, in our shop." "Then I will fetch it." After hanging up the phone, Warnya could not control her tears. She looked at Charlie and choked with gratitude. "Mr. Charlie, the bracelet my mother left for me has been found. Thank you so much." Charlie smiled and said, "Just find it. If Miss Song is in a hurry, please go and get it." Warnya nodded, hurriedly wrote a check for 20 million, handed it to Charlie, and said, "Mr. Charlie, this is a little heart, please accept it." Charlie smiled slightly and waved his hand. 20 million? I really don't lack 20 million. I don't know how to spend nearly tens of billions of cash there. What do you want me to do with 20 million? So, he said lightly, "Miss Song, you and I are also friends. There is no need to talk about money for this matter." Warnya still insisted at this time, "Mr. Charlie, the 20 million is a part of my heart, so I hope you can accept it. Otherwise, I will really feel sorry." Charlie said indifferently, "Miss Song, there may be intersections in the future, so why bother to calculate the accounts so clearly?" When Warnya heard this, she suddenly realized that she hurriedly put away the check and said apologetically, "I'm sorry, Mr. Charlie, I am a little stupid. If something happens to Mr. Charlie in the future, Warnya dare not follow the instructions." Charlie gave a hum and said, "Okay, go get your bracelet back." Warnya nodded. She really couldn't wait to get her bracelet back, so after thanking Charlie, she hurriedly asked Boyu to drive her out. After the two of them left, Orville was also extremely grateful to Charlie, holding his hand, and excitedly said, "Mr. Charlie, you are so interesting. If you have anything in the future, even if you go up to the Sword Mountain or down the fire, I am also willing to put my heart on the ground for you." Charlie smiled and said, "Remember your words, maybe I will have something to do for you in the future." Orville hurriedly nodded, "Mr. Charlie, if you have anything, just order." At this time, Mr. Lai had been lying on the floor crying and begging for mercy. "Big brother, please, I am a bullshit. I will never dare any more." Orville sneered, "You liar, my people will come right away, and they will arrange it for you." Charlie asked in a low voice, "What are you going to do with him?" Orville said coldly, "I said how to chop up and feed the dog, how can I say nothing? I have a little brother who opened a dog fighting kennel, let alone him, he can also eat with those dogs." Charlie glanced at him without any sympathy. This kind of deceitful liar is no different from a quack doctor. If a quack doctor is not cured, he will kill people. If you mess with this kind of fake feng shui, you may also die. To put it bluntly, they are all rascal and they are indeed dead. Moreover, today, in order to defraud Warnie's money, he completely completed the trapped dragon formation. Warnya could have run out of life soon. People like her control hundreds of billions of assets. If her fortune and fate are all exhausted, I don't know how many people below will be implicated. In that case, Warnya will not be the only one killed. Therefore, there is really no need to stay in the world. At this time, Orville's younger brother came over, set up the deceitful Mr. Lai and took away. When Mr. Lai left, the ghost cried and howled, crying how miserable, innocent, and regretful he was, but no one sympathized with him. Charlie shook his head as he watched, and said that he had a bloody disaster today. He didn't believe him, he really deserved it. After solving all the problems, Orville thanked Charlie a lot, and only then sent him home. After returning home, Claire was still looking for work online. Charlie didn't say much. In fact, Charlie himself wanted to support Claire in starting a company, but it seemed that Claire didn't have this idea, so he didn't say much. He also didn't want Claire to be too tired. If she were to start a company and start a business, she would have a lot of work in the early stage. With Claire's personal character, she would suffer a lot. In the evening, Charlie received a call from his good brother Darren in college. Since the last time helped him teach a lesson to the adulterer and his ex in the hospital, Charlie has never seen him again. The main reason is that there are too many things in the family that he really can't take care of. Darren told Charlie on the phone that he had almost recovered and was discharged today. Since Charlie helped him get back to the hotel and paid millions in compensation, the first thing he did when he was discharged from the hospital was to invite a few better classmates to dinner. Seeing that his good brother was about to be discharged from the hospital, Charlie naturally readily agreed. At this time, Claire walked out of the bathroom after taking a shower, and casually asked Charlie, "It's so late, who is calling you?" Charlie said indifferently, "Darren is discharged from the hospital. We are going to have a dinner. Let's go together tomorrow." Claire nodded and said, "Okay." At noon the next day, Charlie drove his wife Claire to Fenglin Hotel. Although Fenglin Hotel is not top-notch in Oris Hill, it can be regarded as a luxury level, enough to show Darren's sincerity. This time Darren was also considered to be bleeding, and he directly booked a luxurious box in the Fenglin Hotel. The box is luxuriously decorated, enough to accommodate 20 people, and the initial consumption alone is 7,000 or 8,000. After Charlie arrived, many people had already arrived in the box. Besides Darren and Elsa, there were also a few classmates. Elsa has not had a good time recently. She has come to Oris Hill from Yenching University for a long time, so as to have the opportunity to get in touch with the chairman of the Emgrand group. However, after working for so long, she has never had a chance to see the real person of the chairman. Moreover, she used to be the administrative director inside the company, but now it's better to go straight out to be the sales director. She runs around outside every day. What made her tortured even more was that she had been obsessed with that man since she was rescued by that mysterious man last time. Therefore, her desire to meet the chairman of the emigrant group is not as great as before. Now she only wants to see her lifesaver, because she feels as if she has fallen in love with the mysterious man at first sight. But she couldn't think of it. In fact, the chairman of the emigrant group and the mysterious lifesaver were actually the same person, Charlie. Seeing Charlie and Claire entering the box, Darren hurriedly stood up and said, "Charlie, Claire, you are here, sit down, have a seat." Darren greeted Charlie and Claire with a very respectful tone, and he admired and appreciated this good brother. Elsa looked a little haggard when she saw the two of them. She felt that she had a stomach and no one could say anything. Seeing Claire, she suddenly had the urge to talk. So she stepped forward and took Claire's wrist and said weakly, "Claire, let's sit together. I have something to tell you." Claire smiled and said, "What's wrong with you, looking listless?" Elsa sighed and said, "It's not because of my mysterious lifesaver. I found that I have fallen in love with him completely. Now I close my eyes and I am full of him in my head. It is him who I see in sleeps and dreams, but I can't find him. What should I do with him? I can't help it." Claire helplessly spread her hands. After Elsa was rescued by a mysterious man, she shouted all day to find that man. "But there are so many people, where can I find him? A single mysterious person?" Charlie on the side just sat down and heard Claire and Elsa's words. A cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Elsa actually fell in love with him? This is too ridiculous. Don't let Elsa know that her male god is him, otherwise there will definitely be a mess. After 3 rounds of wine and food, Darren began to liven up the atmosphere again. "Everyone, thank you all for coming today. I will toast to everyone." After speaking, he drank it all. Several well-connected classmates applauded one after another. "Mr. Darren is great." Charlie smiled faintly, took a sip from the wine glass. "I heard that Mr. Darren is now the big boss. He opened a big hotel, he still has 2 million cash in his hand, and he knows people in the influential circles. He must take care of us in the future." A coquettish woman dressed in enchanting clothes with light makeup on her face smiled charmingly. "Juan Thompson, what you said, Darren and us are the best classmates. If something happens, he will definitely give us a hand." A man with a Chinese character face also picked up a wine glass and drank it in one go. Charlie glanced over them faintly, vaguely remembering that the two of them were his college classmates. The female was Juan Thompson, and the male was Jian Hulu. Darren said embarrassedly, "What it is really a long story, not worth mentioning." After finishing speaking, he looked at Charlie and sighed with emotion. When he met him, he had almost been deceived for nothing, and was even beaten up. However, it is precisely because of Charlie's help that he could retake the hotel and receive 2 million in compensation. It can be said that this was all given by Charlie, so how embarrassed to take it out. so he turned the topic off and said, Jianhua is doing well now. I heard that you have become an executive of a company, and you have an annual salary of 700,000 to 800,000. Jianhua sighed and said, don't mention it, that company is too bad. I'm about to resign and go to Xinhe company to try. I heard that our university classmate Jiang Han was a senior manager there. Now it's pretty good. Unexpectedly, this kid could have this ability. Oh, Darren smiled awkwardly. His relationship with Jiang Han was not good, so Jiang Han was not invited to this party. However, Jianhua and Jiang Han are very close. If they go to Xinhe company and have Jiang Han's support, they must be able to mix in a good position. Elsa also said thoughtfully, I heard that Xinhe company in Oris Hill is also a good large company, and it is quite strong. I can't expect Jiang Han to mix so well now. Claire suddenly froze when she heard Xinhe company. After breaking with the Wilson family, she was expelled from the Wilson group. In order to find a job, she has put in a lot of resumes these days, one of which is Xinhe company. Thinking of this, Claire smiled and said, it just so happens that I have to apply for a job at Xinhe group. If it passes, we will work in a company in the future. Juan on the side asked in astonishment, in the beginning, you have been in the Wilson group well, why should you go to Xinhe company to submit your resume? Claire said helplessly, I have drawn a clear line from the Wilson family now, so I have to go out and find a new job, otherwise I can't support my family. When Juan heard this, she looked at Charlie's eyes full of contempt. Charlie, look at how hard it was in the beginning. As a man, you actually let your woman fall to this point, you are too useless. The relationship between Jianhua and Charlie is not good, so she laughed unscrupulously, Charlie, or go to Jiang Han's company to apply, although with your ability, you can only be a cleaner. But for the face of old classmates, it's okay to let you be a cleaning foreman. Charlie said lightly, you should keep this good thing for yourself, I'm not interested. Seeing him so unappreciative, Jianhua said uncomfortably, Charlie, I know you have a strong self-esteem, but you see now, everyone is better than you, I advise you to recognize the reality. Darren frowned and said, okay, today is the day of our classmates' reunion. Don't run against Charlie like this. After that, Darren said apologetically to Charlie, Charlie, you must not take to your heart, Juan and Jianhua are so straightforward. Juan snorted coldly and said, Darren, who made Charlie this rubbish always look calm and unreliable. He has no ability, and he is quite good at pretending to be compelling. Jianhua added disdainfully, he is just a poor. Charlie's eyes were very cold, but looking at Darren's face, he didn't bother to be familiar with these two idiots. Seeing this, Juan and Jianhua looked down on Charlie even more. They were ridiculed. They didn't even dare to put a bullshit. They were a waste. Jianhua continued sarcastically, hey, if you want me to tell you, Claire is really blind. If so many good boys in our class don't look for her, why did she pick a rag like Charlie?" As he was speaking, at this moment, the door of the box was suddenly pushed open. Boom! Several sturdy men in black broke into the box, and one of them, a young man with a cigarette in his head, said coldly, "Get out of here, I want this box." Jianhua frowned and said, "What are you doing? Didn't you see us eating?" After speaking, he patted the table and said, "This is the Fenglin Hotel. Don't you understand the rules of first come first come first? First come first." The young man with a cigarette holding a small inch walked up to Jianhua and slapped him directly. Jianhua fell to the ground, his face swollen immediately. "You pretend to be forceful with me? I'm the Leopard Lin under Orville. Who are you?" "Leopard Lin." Jianhua held his face, his eyes panicked. Leopard is a famous leader in this area. Although it's not a big deal in Oris Hill, it is a person who no one can afford to offend. "Sorry Leopard, let's go now, let's go." Leopard sneered and looked at the crowd cursing, "What are you doing in a daze? Don't get out of here." Elsa and Claire panicked, and subconsciously hid behind Charlie. Charlie looked at Leopard Lin and said coldly, "For Mr. Orville's face, you get out now, I can spare your life." "Charlie, you're crazy, this is Leopard, Brother Leopard." "Sorry Brother Leopard, we are not familiar with this Charlie, just ask him if you have anything, don't hurt us." Jianhua and Wan criticized Charlie for being bloody. "What a preteens, this is Orville's Leopard. It's a murderous person who has seen blood. You don't want to look to him like this unless you are looking for death." However, the man named Leopard hesitated. He looked at Charlie as if he was thinking of something. His expression suddenly changed and he said tentatively, "You are Charlie Wade." Leopard has been following Orville for a long time. He had the privilege of hearing Charlie's name, and then suddenly remembered. Charlie said coldly, "Could there be two other Charlie Wades in Oris Hill?" Leopard was struck by thunder, and immediately knelt on the ground. "I'm sorry Mr. Wade, I didn't know that it were you master. I deserve 1,000,000 deaths." Jianhua watched this scene and said blankly, "Brother Leopard, is there any misunderstanding? It's true that this person is called Charlie, but he is just a rubbish son-in-law, not a master at all." Leopard Lin turned pale when he heard this, and kicked Jianhua to the ground. "Your mother, are you looking for death? Dare to insult Mr. Wade and see if I won't kill you today." Although Leopard can be regarded as the #1 person in the surrounding area, he knew in his heart that he was a dog of Orville, and facing Charlie, Orville had to kneel and lick, and he was even qualified to lick the bottom. "Dare not have it. And you dare to insult Mr. Wade." While talking, Leopard turned his head and gave Wan a slap, bleeding her mouth. "Oh, Leopard Lin, we still have to eat, please get out of here." Charlie didn't bother to care about a small character like Leopard, so he directly bowed his hand and let him go. Leopard nodded and bowed his waist and said, "Don't worry, Mr. Wade, I'll get out of here. Get out of here now." After finishing speaking, like a pug, he quickly retreated from the box. In the box, don't mention how uncomfortable Jianhua and Juan were. Charlie, who had just been mocked by them in every possible way, turned into Mr. Wade in the mouth of Brother Leopard. What was going on? There must be some misunderstanding inside. Charlie is just a waste. Also worthy of being called Lord, a master? Darren said to the two of them, "You two, let's have a snack in the future. You must be low-key when you come out. What should be said and what should not be said, think before you speak, it could bring you big trouble." Jianhua and Juan had just been beaten by Leopard, and now they dare not even let go. Darren then said to Charlie, "Charlie, thanks to you, I toast you on behalf of everyone, thank you." Charlie smiled faintly, "It's just a small matter." The next day, Claire received an interview invitation from Xinhe Company. The interview was scheduled in the afternoon, and Charlie took advantage of Claire's attention and took out his cell phone to call Salmon White. After the call was connected, Salmon White's respectful voice rang, "Mr. Wade, what are your instructions?" Charlie said lightly, "My wife is going to apply for a job at Xinhe Construction Company. I want to ask you about this company." Salmon White was surprised and said, "Xinhe Construction Company? This company is a wholly owned enterprise controlled by the White family. Miss Wilson is going to apply for this company? This is too bad for Miss Wilson, or I will just remove the chairman of the company. How about changing Miss Wilson as the next chairman?" Charlie was stunned when he heard the words. He was a little surprised that Xinhe Company belonged to the White family. If Salmon White can help, it would be good, but after thinking about it, his wife wanted to rely on her own ability, so he said lightly, "No, you just arrange it then and let my wife pass the interview." Salmon White immediately respectfully said, "Okay Mr. Wade, I will arrange it now." Here, after Salmon White just hung up the phone, he immediately asked his assistant to send a notice to the senior management of Xinhe Company. The thing Mr. Wade ordered, he must do well. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Claire was about to leave for an interview at Xinhe Company. Since the car was sent to the forest shop for maintenance today, Charlie and Claire had no choice but to take a taxi, but this was the peak time. The two waited on the roadside for a long time and did not get a taxi. Claire was a little anxious, and said helplessly, "If I miss the interview with Xinhe Company a little later, it would definitely give them a bad impression. I would not have sent the car for maintenance if I knew it." Charlie was also very helpless. Looking at the number of taxis, there are more than 50 people who can turn to him. It's really a mistake. At this time, a black Rolls-Royce Phantom slowly stopped in front of the two. The window rolled down and the person inside was Salmon White. He was surprised and said, "Mr. Charlie, are you planning to take a taxi?" Charlie was stunned for a moment. It's a coincidence that Salmon White just made it. So he said, I want to take my wife to the Xinhe company for an interview. Why are you here? Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates. Link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.